Do you have any clue what this says? Maybe it looks like Greek to you. Actually, it's Sanskrit. But have you ever felt like English was Greek or Sanskrit? Or that it was just literally another language? That's the point. Is that when we're learning another language, it can be so different from what we're used to. I think I told you for the past couple months, that's my new language is Sanskrit. So I've been studying a new language and really from scratch because it's so different for me and it's really brought me back to that basic learning level and how hard it really is. And it's reminded me of how exciting and also how hard it is and how challenging it is to learn a new language. And maybe we reflect on what it is that really makes language feel natural. What makes speaking almost effortless? How do you speak effortlessly when something seems so foreign? That's what we'll talk about today. I'm Maureen Turnbull-Arbelo, and I'm the founder of Prepare Coaching. If you haven't met me before, it's such a pleasure to meet you, and I empower and inspire people to cross the many borders of language and of culture that can, but do not have to separate us. And like I was saying, it's my pleasure to talk about Sanskrit with you today, but really talk about what it means to take a language from being very foreign, from being very unnatural, to becoming natural, something we speak and something we do almost effortlessly. For me, as I said, I'm learning Sanskrit, so last month I had to just write these two words, Om and yoga, over and over and over again. I wrote them on a piece of paper over and over and over again, like you do when you're a little kid, and I was feeling pretty good about it. Today, as I started doing this, I realized I had switched the symbol for Om. Why? Because it's so different for me. And that's the point. It became quite natural, but it wasn't totally solidified in my mind yet. And that's what I really want to talk about today is how long it takes for something to become really solidified in our mind, whether it be pronunciation or writing, spelling. And how long does that take? People ask me all the time, well, how long does it take for me to be able to speak? And maybe you're learning a new word. How long does it take to learn that new word? How long does it take to actually be comfortable with your pronunciation of a particular word? How long did it take me to write this? Like I said, it takes a lot of repetition. Now, it depends on what you're doing. Of course, Sanskrit is in the Devanagari alphabet, so it's very different than our Latin alphabet. Luckily, if you're learning a Latin language, if you speak Portuguese and you're learning English, it's going to be much easier for you on that level. But what about the pronunciation? It's much different from one language to the other. So how do we transform our brain from saying, for example, Kujimar to saying Rudimar? How do we transform our brain from saying happy to rap? Right? For so long, if you speak Portuguese, when you see that word, you think happy or you think hippy hoppy. But in English, we say rap, hip hop. How do you transform your brain to make that natural? And when you see that word, oh, I'm speaking English, so I'm going to say rap. Oh, I'm speaking Portuguese, I'm going to say hippy hoppy. How do we do that? Really, I think the trick is repetition. It might sound simple, but it's a skill because we need a lot of persistence and we really have to work at it. So I want to do a little activity, one of my favorite activities with you today, to just nail this idea in, right? So I want you to take your hands and put them together like this. So what thumb is on top? For me, it's my left thumb. So there's my left thumb on top. Which thumb is on top for you? Right or left? Okay, now what I want you to do is switch your hands. Can you feel that? Now my right thumb is on top. it feels weird. This is the way I naturally do it. This way feels strange. So now what I want you to do is take your hands apart and put them back together the weird way. And you're going to keep doing this with me over and over again. The strange way, the unnatural way, the foreign way, the other way, the way that takes a lot of effort. If you can feel, there's a lot of resistance. There's literally physical resistance when we start doing this. It's almost like there's a force, almost like there's a magnet repelling our hands, because this is not what our hands naturally want to do. Our nervous system has memorized doing it the other way. So what we need to do is keep doing it. Here I go. I keep going. And what happens, what I think is so amazing, is at a certain point, it's happening to me now. I don't know when it'll happen to you, but all of a sudden it just becomes lighter. Wow. All of a sudden my fingers just go together. It's not that hard. So, it's a little bit hard. But wow, that resistance just goes away. There's still a little bit, right? But there's so much less than there was before. Now what I want you to do, we've done it a lot, right? So now what I want you to do is shake out your hands and don't think about it, just close them together. Wow. Mine went back. Mine traded, actually. I was able to reprogram my mind, therefore reprogram my nervous system, reprogram the way my hands go together naturally. Because I've done this a lot, it's pretty easy for me to reprogram because I do this a lot. For you, you might have switched back to the original. That's okay. What it means is you just need even more practice. The more we do it, the easier it is for us to switch back and forth, right? But it's not that easy. So we really have to keep up the practice. What this shows us in a very literal, very, very concrete way is how much practice we need to transform the way we think. So when you're speaking your native language, it's like this. It's comfortable. To learn another language, there's resistance. Even though I've learned 2 other languages, now that I'm learning Sanskrit, there's a lot of resistance. I'm thinking, what? This is crazy. I don't even know what these symbols stand for. I'm having to learn an entirely new alphabet and a very different form of pronunciation. So a lot of my brain's going, this is too hard. But it's not. I just have to practice a lot. And I know from experience that because I've done it before, first it sounds really weird. First, just saying one word, maybe writing one word is very difficult. And all of a sudden, it becomes something I do. Now speaking Portuguese is comfortable for me. I don't do it effortlessly, but it doesn't take very much effort. Actually, speaking without a lot of mistakes does take quite a bit of effort, but it actually really doesn't. I have to continue to practice more and more to improve my Portuguese to the point that I'm speaking very eloquently, making fewer mistakes without more effort. And that's the trick. But the only way that I will get there is by practicing more, because I still have a little bit of resistance, right? I still have some things bad habits that I've learned, or words that I don't know, or pronunciations that are difficult for me that I need to just keep working on. So you too, think about those things for you that are difficult in English. Maybe there's some pronunciations of like world, or pan and pen, or man and men, or something like that that's a little difficult for you, a little more difficult. How can you get through that? How can you go from, this is really hard, and when you say that word, you might block yourself. You might be having some trouble saying it. How do you get from there to saying it almost effortlessly, or making that just what you do, making it natural for you to pronounce words correctly in English? Well, and I use correctly because there's many different ways to pronounce, but let's say without a Portuguese accent, without the Portuguese pronunciation. Let's say that without the Portuguese pronunciation, practice. Listen, practice, listen, repeat. Practice. Did you make a mistake? Start again. No problem. Patience, persistence, and repetition. And you'll get there. So if you feel like you've done it a million times, maybe you have. Maybe it just will take 1,000,001 times. So whenever you're getting frustrated about how long it's taking or how many times you practice something, try this with your hands again and see if that helps you. If that helps you remember how many things for you at one point were difficult that you now do effortlessly, whether it be driving your car or speaking Portuguese, speaking your native language. You didn't know how to do that before, but you did it so many times that it became something you could do. So that is possible for you to do with anything, including English. So just practice. I would love to know what you think about this, what experiences you've had with this, and I hope that this helps you, give you some motivation to continue. And like I said, I'm doing this too. I'm going and going and going and practicing and getting better and practicing a lot more. So I'm here on this journey with you. So let's keep going. Please leave your comments below. Let us know how everything's going for you and how this resonates with you, or if you have any questions or comments. I really appreciate you being here today. It's such a pleasure to talk with you today. Much light, much love. All the very best for you and all the very best this universe has to offer. See you next week. Ciao, ciao.